I don't know if you can hear it right now, but there's a lot of noise in the background. There's the air conditioner, which I'm about to turn off in a second. But it's like I live in South Texas. It is 100 degrees outside right now. And that is not an exaggeration. Also, there's a police siren, and my neighbors started playing the music the moment I pressed play on the camera. Or record, whatever. But don't worry, at least it's not shake the walls loud. It's just annoyingly loud. But the music you're about to hear is put in there specifically to drown out some of the ambient noises. Greetings and welcome to the Fan Perspective. I'm your host Nathan Nile, and this is WNBA Weekly, the show where every Monday I stand in front of this camera and I talk about what's happened recently in the association and everything I'm looking forward to in the upcoming week. We are 2 weeks into the season. Every team has played less than 10 games, and yet this has already been one of the strangest years I've ever witnessed. Let's go ahead and get it out of the way. The Minnesota Lynx have lost 4 straight games. They are now 2-5. I expected them to struggle a little bit. They keep getting older, and the teams in the league keep getting better. I figured they wouldn't be dominating as much as they have in years past. However, I did not expect them to be sitting in 10th place, half a game above the Las Vegas Aces, who are only 1 game above the winless Indiana Fever. The Minnesota Lynx cannot be a lottery pick. Not while Maya Moore is still on the team. This may be the worst season she's ever had, period, in her entire life. I mean, it's not like they're the worst team in the league. They've played well at times. It's just that, as I said, there are a lot of teams in the league that are playing so well. 2 of their games came on a last-second shot. So if you just give them those 2 games, suddenly they turn into a 4-3 team sitting in the top half, with right next to the Mercury. The Washington Mystics played 4 games this week, and they only won 1 of them. I knew they would struggle a little bit. I did not expect it to happen like this. I expected them to maybe be about 2-2 this week, but I also expected Delle Donne to play at least 1 game. She's missed the entire week, and the thing that bugs me the most is that the only information I can find is that it's due to illness. Can somebody please give me a specific type of illness? Illness can mean anything. Does she have gonorrhea? Did she miss the entire week because of gonorrhea? Based on Elena's history, I would assume that she's battling through a flare-up of her Lyme disease, but it would be nice if I could get some sort of confirmation. I mean, seriously, why are they stuck with the word illness? Why are they refusing to tell us what is actually happening? The Connecticut Sun now remain at the top of the standings at 5-0, the only undefeated team left in the league, and the Indiana Fever now the only winless team left. But they have been competitive in a few of their contests. They're really not struggling as much as I expected them to, honestly. They've got the pieces in place they can do well. They're just having trouble finishing the games, and I think them losing right now isn't as much about them as it is the opponents, because they're in a really tough league. I've heard this said about the NFL before, and so I'll say it about the Fever. Even if they went 0-34, which I do not expect them to do, I'd still take them like 100-1 against any college team out there. The Fever are a decent team. They've got a good roster, and they're going to get a few wins this year. Still expect them to get that number 1 overall draft pick, but they're going to keep fighting all season long. And Mitchell keeps getting better, man. That rookie Kelsey, did you see the game on Saturday? On Saturday, possibly the game of the week, the Fever came back from a 20-point deficit to force overtime. Kelsey Mitchell, career-high 26 points. Not to be outdone, Kia Nurse, the rookie on the other side, pulls on a career-high 34 points. New York gets their 2nd straight win. Listen, we all know Asia Wilson is probably going to be the definitive Rookie of the Year. She definitely looks like the second coming of Breanna Stewart, who kind of looks like the second coming of Delle Donne, who kind of looks like the second coming of Maya Moore, who kind of looks like the second coming of Candace Parker. You see where I'm going with this. I kind of agree with all of the women in the league who say they don't like being compared to male players, because there are comparisons available. There have been ton of talented players in this league. But yeah, as of right now, I just don't see anyone unseating A'ja Wilson. She seems like, before she even played a game, people were giving her the Rookie of the Year trophy. So it would take an astronomical effort to unseat her from that chair. But Kia Nurse, she's definitely trying her best. And I think if she doesn't win Rookie of the Year, she got a very good shot at winning Sixth Woman of the Year if she stays on the bench. You never know. I've heard this said a couple of times before. In fact, I've heard it said basically every draft since I started watching the WNBA. But this might be the deepest, most talented draft ever, okay? But the 84 draft in the NBA? That's what this is for the WNBA right now. Honestly. I'm going on record as saying that 2018 is going to go down as one of the best drafts in WNBA history. I also want to finish this off by saying Seattle had won 5 straight games. Jewel Loyd had scored 20 points in 5 straight games. On Saturday, yes, Sue Bird was missing, but Jordan Canada still had 9 assists, and Jewel Loyd was held to 16 points. Seattle loses. There seems to be a direct correlation. I get that Breanna Stewart is the favorite to win MVP, and I understand that. She is the best player on this team. But right now, there is definitely something to be noted here. Because Breanna, she's going to do what she's going to do. But Jewel Loyd, 5 games that she has 20 points, they've won all of those. The 2 games that she was held under 20, they've lost both of those. Just pointing that out. So after a very exciting and turbulent week, here are your current standings. And now we move on to the part of the show where I tell you what games I'm looking forward to seeing over the next 6 days. As always, I will tell you which ones are currently scheduled to air nationally. And there are very few of those this week as well. For the rest, you can check your local listings or you can watch every single game on WNBA League Pass. Also, do not forget that every time I mention is Eastern Standard Time, be sure to adjust for your time zone. Looking at the current schedule, there are only 3 games this week that are actually being aired nationally. On Tuesday morning, you've got the Mercury versus the Liberty at 11 a.m. That one's going to be on Twitter. Then you've got on ESPN2, Thursday night at 9:30, the Storm versus the Sparks. And then on Saturday afternoon, you've got the Lynx versus the Sun at 2 p.m. on NBA TV. Seriously, I've been saying this for years, but League Pass, you can watch every single game. You can watch it live or you can wait till the next day and just watch the 4th quarter. Either that or get on Twitter and you can just yell at all of the executives on ESPN and NBA TV and tell them that we'd rather watch an actual game than a bunch of highlights and draft analysis and bullshit. So the games I'm looking forward to this week, first of all, there are 3 teams I'm going to be paying very close attention to all week. Right now, the Connecticut Sun, they are undefeated. No team has ever gone 34-0, and I don't expect anyone to. So definitely going to be watching to see not only who beats the Sun first, but how they do it. So I'm going to be paying more and more attention to them as the season goes on. I want to see, are they going to hit that 10-0 mark? Will they be toppled by a top-tier team in a potential playoff preview? Or will they have just a shocking upset loss to a team like the Aces or even the Fever? The Fever, by the way, I'm also paying attention to them because, yes, they're winless, but they have been competitive in many of their games. They had a legitimate shot of beating the Liberty, and they're going to win something. Even if it's only 3 games, they're going to win at least a few times this year. I'm also paying very close attention to the Chicago Sky now that Courtney Vandersloot is back. She was 1 assist short of a double-double on Sunday. And the more comfortable she gets, especially as Chicago gets healthier, because Quigley's out right now, Steph Dolson is out right now. With those 2 back and Vandersloot playing at a high level, DeShields and Gabby Williams getting more comfortable, the team chemistry continuing to improve, the continued development of young players, like Elena Coates. This team could be really dangerous, so I'm going to be paying more attention to them as the season goes on, see how well they do. Also, the Minnesota Lynx, they've got a tough schedule, including 1 game against the Sun, who are undefeated right now. I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. That's it for this edition of WNBA Weekly. Tune in next Monday for another all-new episode. And until then, this has been The Fan Perspective. I'm your host, Nathan Lyle. Have a great week. I don't know if you can tell, but I've been sucking on cough drops the whole video. Because I felt fine all day. But the minute I press record, for some reason I can't stop coughing. And now, as soon as I finish recording, I feel fine again. I haven't coughed once since I finished the intro. And that was 2 hours ago before I started editing this thing. Oh yeah, I realized I forgot to add a comment question of the week. The only one I can come up with is just, how shocked are you that the Lynx are losing? On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm like at a 20. Because it really shouldn't be happening. I expected them to be like 5-2 at worst. I didn't expect them to finish May winless, undefeated. But damn sure didn't expect them to finish winless either. 2-5 is just unthinkable.